2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, so let's be real with each other. AP Comparative. You have to know your content. Raise your hand if you struggled with content. Okay, I have 4 people who raised their hand, and 4 happen to be some of the smartest kids in the class. So if the smartest kids in the class are struggling, I assume most of you are. Let me tell you, this is supposed to be a survey class, not a depth class. Do you think I was going to elaborate, Andreas? A survey class means it's supposed to touch on a lot of topics on a shallow base because you have the background. An instructional class is like your A-Push or your AP World or your AP Euro that really goes from one event to the next, yes? And builds an understanding. That is not what this class is supposed to be. This is supposed to be taken in your senior year after you've completed a majority of the AP classes where you already have the background and the understanding, so you already have the complexity of content where you can sit there and assess. How are we feeling on that assessing?
I didn't read it.
Yeah. It's hard because, unfortunately, and this is not entirely your fault, I would say a majority of it's not, you have some weak foundations. Would we agree? So, some of it from your own, some of it from the belly of the beast, I guess. However, it is an issue. So, you also, I've been as transparent as a girl can possibly be. This is my first year going through it as well. So I'm working through things. Can we agree? I hope that you see that I am working and actively trying to figure this out because, A, this is not what I expected. I think you could tell my bright, shiny excitement for AP Gov, and I thought it was going to be a survey class where I just have to connect things and not teach things in depthly. That has... Yeah, like horribly. Like that ship has like not even sunk. It has burned down and on fire plummeted to the bottom of the ocean. Yeah, that's an image there. So, we are working through things. And one of the things that I'm working through, and I just want to give you a heads up. Next week, does anyone know what topic we're studying next week in this class? Adam. UK. So we're finally getting into our in-depth country analysis, which will really, 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 really help. So much so, I think next year I'm just going to start with the countries and then go backwards into the other shit. Okay? I'm learning, I am doing, I am changing as best I can. And honestly, I like next year's kids better. I'm just kidding. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, things are a little bit tricky, but I can tell you something that will be helpful to all of you. What you need for today's instruction, please listen very carefully. You need your comparative prompts, just the comparative ones. You need your 4 essays out on your desk, and I would have 2 sheets of paper. You need your comparative prompts. You need 2 sheets of paper and your 4 essays. There's line paper below.
Oh.
Okay. So, please listen. I do want to show you something. I'm warning you right now. On Thursday, I may even give it to you Wednesday, just so you can have it. On Thursday, you're receiving your AP UK. Let me try that again. On Thursday, you are picking up your United Kingdom focus. It's a doozy, friends. It's really long. I'm working through it right now. It is very long. There's a lot of information. But once you go through it, honestly, it'll help clear up a lot of confusion. Is everyone clear? Which is why next year I think I'm just going to start with the UK and kind of go backwards and lead to the comparative on the back side. Does that make sense? So, I'm working through things. The best way to learn something is to do something, yes? I am working hard. Hopefully you see that is to your benefit as well. But here we go. So I'm warning you, your focus this week is going to be very... Your focus for the next 6 weeks are going to be very... Yeah. So, I'm warning you, I'm telling you, and I also know it's Gasparilla weekend. I'm sorry. If it makes your heart feel happy, doing things by country makes it incredibly hard on my side to do it because AP does not recognize it by country, so my life is also on fire. Anyway, one thing I do want to point out that depending on whatever question, like one of your questions today is on Mexico and Nigeria. By going to that country section, it'll help you answer those questions. Is everyone clear? So you should be looking at your book here. It will help. National Liberalization Army will be an answer for today's stuff. You are going to see that the information here is going to help. So as you're going through the rest of the writing week, if it's an essay on Mexico, you should open up your book to Mexico. Doesn't that make sense? Okay, I just want to point that out. We'll come back to that. Okay. Let's start with what your homework is for tonight. And then we'll get going on to our essays. So let me make abundantly clear, your essays tonight, you have 3 of them. Last period, I planned 2 of them. Is that the ideal? Yes. So we're going to move quickly so we can get this done, so we can get to exactly what we need. Is everyone clear on the expectation? Perfect. So everyone needs to have their AP comparative prompts out, please. You are doing, if you look on my board, you'll see you are doing question number 4. You are doing question number 7 and question number 8. You have 3 essays due tomorrow. I'd like to plan 2 of them for you. Does that sound good? Okay. What? Any questions? 4, 7, and 8. It's on my board. Luke, you got that down? Because it'd be rude as hell. Perfect. So, 4, 7, and 8. It's on my board. AP comparative. Ben, what do you need, my love?
Nothing. All good.
Okay. So, put this to the side with your 2 blank sheets of paper. Just put it to the side. Don't put it on the floor. Don't put it away. Just put it to the side. Right now, I want you to have out your 4 essays. Now, I told you explicitly, I want each essay on a separate sheet of paper for a grand total of how many papers? 4. On one side, you have planning. On one side, you have your essay. Yes? Perfect. Take all 4 of your essays and hand it to someone near you. Go. It doesn't matter. You're not getting married. You're not going on a cruise. Just pass your damn papers. Okay. What I would like you to do is you are just going to look on both. Is there 4 pages? Raise your hand if your person did not give you 4 pages. Okay. Now what you are going to do, you are now going to look on the front, on one side if they have planning, on one side if they have an essay. If they do, give them 10 points. If they only have the essay with no planning, it's 5 points. If they only have the planning with no essay, then it's... So go through, you're writing a score out of 10 4 times if they earned all 10. At the top of the page where it's easy to see, right? Doesn't that make sense? In the margin at the top, so Samantha Bennett doesn't have to hurt herself. These are all completion. Because I got to get through today's. Don't you want me to work on comparative?
No, I'm not.
I did plan out most of them, didn't I? Luke. What, Luke? No, because I just don't have time. All right, pass them to Nick. Nick, put them in a pile for me. Okay, take out your AP compare. I'm trying to move quickly so I can help you with your essays tonight. Does everyone see what we're doing here? Okay, take out your comparative prompts, which I just had you put to the side. Take out your 2 sheets of paper. I'm probably planning 2 of them. That's why I only have 2 out. Here we go. Okay. So, at the top of your page, write comparative. We're going to start with number 4. Remember, the faster you move, the faster I move. Is everyone clear? Here we go. Compare how global economic forces influence policies in 2 different AP comparative governments and politics course countries. In your response, you should do the following, ABC. So, immediately, you have to come up with 2, just leave it on the empty desk in front of you, Nick. Thank you. What is a country that we feel confident speaking of their economic policies? UK. If you can choose a country, I would say always go UK because they're the most familiar with us. What is another country we feel pretty confident speaking economically on? Ethan. China is the one I would pick too. So we picked our 2 countries. Here we go. So A is asking us to define economic globalization. What is economic globalization? By the way, I taught this to you last week, so all hands should be up. Adam?
Increasing between countries economically.
Increasing. Interconnectedness. Between countries economically. Perfect. Okay, B. Explain how state membership in an international economic organization has increased economic policies in 2 different AP comparative government courses. Okay, what is one economic international economic organization, Luke?
EU.
The EU is one. It is economics, they're doing currency, absolutely. So the EU, okay? Okay, so how membership? So if you're going to say EU with the UK, what happens with the EU with the UK, Luke? Brexit. Why?
Because other countries were missing the money, so Britain will suffer.
Britain's currency suffered due to poor economic conditions in other EU nations. This will push the UK to leave the EU. Okay. All right. What about China? What do we got for China? What is an economic commission that China is in? Kate? World Trade Organization. And how does China play a role in it? It's a little bit more than just that. Luke?
They're the second largest economy.
Okay, so they are the second largest economy. Fine, that goes back to Kate's answer, correct? That they are shipping and manufacturing goods. Okay. Their wealth is managed by Western standards. Okay. Which challenges what? If I'm saying Western, it challenges what? Their communist structures. And it will lead to what? A rise in what in China? Capitalism. In China. Fine. Okay. C. Explain why each of the 2 comparative government and politics course countries described in B would choose a state membership in an international economic organization. Why would the UK choose to participate in an economic... Guys, anytime you talk UK, you can always talk about what? What do I always bring it back to? There's 2 things we always bring it back to in the UK. No. That'd be like the third thing. Lucas. Huh?
Brexit.
No. We already talked about Brexit, so we can't keep saying the same thing, but no.
Or healthcare.
Healthcare, I would say, would be number one thing, but let's go with number two thing. What's the number one thing about England? They happen to have a descendant on the list.
Oh, they like colonized.
Yes, they're colonizers. Yes, they're imperialist nations. So the UK is an imperialist nation. Do they still have their colonies? No. So why would they join an economic union? Yes. Okay, the UK lost their colonies. 1950s to 1970s. Okay? Use economic partnerships, economic memberships to reform bonds to increase economic yields, to pay high costs of what? It always comes back to this. Healthcare, because they have free healthcare. China, why would China want to be in this membership? Come on, don't make it harder than it has to be, people. Why would China want to be a part? Adam?
Free trade.
Free trade. Why do they need free trade?
So they can export all the stuff they produce.
Okay, stabilize. There.
I mean, their currency and their economy is about added running.
Yeah, so they need to stabilize their new economic cornerstones. With direct access to the West. Why? What's the other? Why would the West want to work with China? Why is everything made in China? What's like the kind of the component here? Lalit. Okay, which means what? What's the impact? Why would all these companies go to China? Well, okay, Lalit, don't make pull out my Pierce. Help me. The what? Sort of. I see. It's cheaper. It's cheap labor. Because they don't have labor unions, right? Like you're making it harder than it needs to be. Keep it simple, stupid. Cheap labor. Okay. Woski Bobrovsky. Here we go. Comparative at the top. Number 4. A. Economic globalization. Is the I wrote it on the same piece of paper and I can't look at it that way. Economic globalization is the increasing the interconnectedness between countries economically. Done. We've restated the prompt, listed our answer. B. Explain how state membership in an international organization has influenced economics. Membership in an international economic organization like the EU has shaped the UK by forcing the UK by forcing to leave That's not the smoothest sentence, but here we go. Membership in an international organization like the EU has shaped the UK by forcing the UK to leave the EU and hurt its own economy. And hurt its own economy in the process. There we go. Done. Its complaints against the common currency of the euro led to Brexit, which isolates UK from the rest of Europe, and a decline in economy. Memberships in international economic organizations like the World Trade Organization or China has allowed to rise to the second largest GDP, but has created political tensions due to its communist government structures. C. Explain why each country described would choose a state membership. Here we go. The UK would choose a state membership because its economy needs to recover from losing its colonial possessions in the 1950s, 1970s, and hopefully allow them to yield enough economic gains to pay for health care costs. D, nope, still C, just kidding. China would choose state membership to gain access to free trade, to stabilize their new economic cornerstones of capitalism. China would choose a new state membership to gain access to free trade, to stabilize their new economic cornerstone of capitalism, and to the benefit of Western economies for cheap labor. Not my best, but good. There you go.
What is the difference between like a membership in a supranational organization or a state membership?
A state membership is a country, an international economic organization. They're talking essentially about the same things. They're just using two different terms for it. All right. 7. Ethnicity plays a role in politics in Mexico and Nigeria. Oh my God, did we just talk about this last week? Oh my God, can't believe it. At the top of your paper, write comparative. Okay, we're doing number 7. A. What is a significant ethnic division in Mexico? Oh my God, I've already talked to these people. Anna.
Like the mestizos.
Mestizos.
Yeah.
Mestizos and indigenous. Okay. B. Explain how a function. Nope. B. Identify an ethnic movement that occurred in Mexico after 1990. The answer is National Liberation Army.
I'm just not good.
You wouldn't know that. If you went into your book, you could. National Liberation is fighting for more recognition of land for indigenous. I did kind of talk about it, I just didn't use the formal term. For indigenous Mexican. Remember how we had land redistribution? Hello?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. It's demands. They demand land redistribution. Distribution. And they create the National Indigenous Congress. Okay, see. Nope. C, describing a significant ethnic division in Nigeria. Open up your book. Let's find one. Take out your 5 steps to a 5. Flip to the Nigeria section. What?
In Mexico, there was like, I remember mestizos and mulattoes, like there was another ethnic division.
There is. If you could state that too, but the indigenous also works. Because indigenous is ethnic. Okay, so open it up. Look for a significant ethnic division. So look for your social cleavages. What do you got, Adam? There you go. Let's do. Okay, so you have the Yoruba and Igbo. Okay, these are both in southeast Nigeria, but differ in economic treatment by the British okay, causing economic instability. Okay, D. Identify an ethnic movement that emerged in Nigeria after and why the movement occurred. Okay, so I know you're like, am I supposed to know this off the top? No, that's why we're doing it together. And B, you could look at your book and kind of go through. So, we'll pick, is it an ethnic? I did it, an ethnic movement. Perfect. It's the movement for the actualization of the sovereign state of BIAFRA. Okay, it's Igbo supporters who resent government intrusion. They form due to unfair treatment. E. Explain one reason why ethnicity has played a more significant role. Why? You know this answer. Why does Nigeria have more of an ethnic tension than anywhere else? Why? Ethan.
The Berlin Conference, European powers got together and split Africa based off of geographical lines. So
There you go. Okay, due to colonialism. State borders were drawn by Europeans with no knowledge of ethnic groups or tension. Creating more resentment and conflicts.
The last word would be
Come on, dude, ask someone next to you. Okay, flip it. Let's go. Comparative at the top. Number 7. A significant ethnic division in Mexico is between mestizos and the indigenous people. B. An ethnic movement that emerged in Mexico post 1990 is the National Liberation Army that will fight for more recognition of land, for indigenous, and demand land redistribution. That's fine. C. Describe a significant ethnic division in Nigeria. A significant ethnic division in Nigeria is between the YORUBA and IGBO. ethnic groups. Period. That's all I need to do, right? Yep, that's it. So I'm walking away. D. Identify an ethnic movement. An ethnic movement that emerged in Nigeria after 1990. Is the movement for the actualization of the sovereignty state of Biafra, who are Igbo supporters who reject the authority of the Nigerian government. Done. E. Explain one reason why ethnicity has played a more significant role. One reason why ethnicity has played a larger role in Nigeria over Mexico is because multiple European nations dividing Africa during colonialism that take no ethnic knowledge. There you go. Acknowledgement into being. There you go. One reason why ethnicity. There you go. Done. All right, let's plan the third. Isn't that nice? Okay, this one should be the easiest, which is why it's for homework. Your girl tried. I mean, what else can a girl do, right? You should be pretty good on that one. Can we agree? Are we friends? Kind of friends or really friends? All right. Please leave. See ya. What's up?
I have a question. I turned in my focus.
Yeah, when?
On time, like for week 20,
Okay.
but I got a 0 for it.